Welcome guys, today I'm doing the overclocking. First I'm going to start off with the specs, what I have everything overclocked to. We're going to do the benchmarks and then some game benchmarks as well. So do enjoy. And comment down below what I can maybe do better. And this is just what I found a stable, good place to run my stuff. Here I have up first, I'm just going to go over what I have my clock set to. So currently on MSI Afterburner, I have my power limit set to 108, my temp limit set to 83 degrees, my core clock I have with a plus 130, my memory clock is a plus 400, and I found that is just a very stable place to run this. And for the voltage, temperatures are sitting at a base idle at 40 degrees Celsius. My clock is 3.85 with a 1.375 gigahertz, voltage, not gigahertz, sorry. And then I just have my memory set at 2400 because that's what this seems to like. I just got my latency at 16, and then the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. Alrighty, and then as you can see, this is my previous score here, but I have overclocked a little bit more, so we're gonna go ahead and run this test. This is the test for the clock I had just showed you on the CPU and the GPU, which is actually higher than my past score, which is very nice. The past score of 1637, which is fantastic, by the way. But I mean, I was very pleased with the test that I got of this. I mean, it's not like I'm running an 18x clocking to 4 gigahertz. I'm only at 3.85, so it's not all that fancy. So I got 1642 out of this run, which is very pleasing and for good mileage. I don't need something super fancy for that there. And then we're gonna go into the Heaven benchmark. And then for this guy, I had everything set to ultra, the tessellation, everything. You can see that right here on the screen. You can see my average FPS is 89.4. I got a score of 2253, max FPS 184. And that's just everything set to the way it was. For some reason, it doesn't like to recognize that I have it set to 3.85 and it just says 300 megahertz for some reason. And moving on to Time Spy. And do understand this is a 1440p DirectX 12 test, so my computer is not going to be the most fluent in this test, holding an average of around 40 FPS or so in the graphics tests. And the CPU score overall did come out pretty well, but I won't keep you guys here long. I'll show you the scores I got here. So for the overall score, I got a 6499. The graphics score was a 6298, and the CPU score was a 7936. So when you compare that online, I'm in the top 82% better than all results. Of course, I didn't beat a 4K PC. So for the Firestrike, this is just your standard high-end DirectX 11 1080p test. I'm not going to do the Firestrike Extreme because clearly I don't have the capability to run the 4K test. And then we have the final results here of a 14203 in the combined score with a graphics score of 17352 with a typical FPS of 81 to 70. The physics score was 19314 with 61 FPS, and then the combined score was 5150. So overall, pretty good. Well, you can go there, you can see the different stuff. Apparently the clock frequency is -1 megahertz, because that's a real thing. And Fraps does not work very well for benchmarking, so I decided I would just give it a rough estimate. Minimum FPS, sometimes it dips down into like the 40s on very rare occasions. The average FPS is, I want to say, about 60 FPS. I have everything all the way up to Ultra, Hairworks, all of it, all max, 1080p, and then we have a war here. We're gonna do some combat so you guys can see. Oh, or die. That works too. It averages, usually when I'm off the horse, about 75 FPS. Max at about 100 when in cities or inside houses. And then, the lows are pretty standard at like 65 down to like 55. On The Witcher 3, 1080p, everything set ultra. Very smooth. Definitely very smooth. And as you guys can already tell, we're holding around 85 to 90 FPS, pretty average, but this is just the starting scene. It will definitely drop as you get in around particles and smoke and action. So it's already dropping down now that it's seeing a lot more in the scene. It's taking a bit more to render, but still 70 to like 60 to 70 FPS is still very playable with everything on ultra. I myself use a 144 Hz monitor, and so it's honestly I benefit from every single frame I gain. But overall, you don't need 144 Hz to play games like these. They're not FPS, fast action, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike type of games. So as you can tell, this bench here, and I will catch up with you guys when this bench has finished, so that way we're not just androgynously going through the whole thing. Alrighty guys, so you can see the typical FPS, the average FPS here, and the average CPU is 30%, our average GPU is 97%, but we're hanging just around 80 FPS for everything on Ultra, for 1080p, with a Ryzen 1700. So I feel like overall that is clocked very well playable, besides the fact that the Division has a bunch of crashes, which is fun. But besides that, that is the bench for that guy there, and that's pretty true to the actual in-game play itself. Alright, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. This has just been a sample test. This is my first ever benchmarking video, so I'm not exactly how to put it all together. Anyway, none of that even matters. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll be doing more computers in the future and doing more benchmarking videos. So stick around for those, hopefully, because we'll see where that goes. But you guys have a fantastic week. Make sure to comment down below what you guys thought, what I could maybe improve on this, guys, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.